Yeah.
So, uh, so hello everyone. Welcome to Web3 in Business. This is a podcast where we try to interact with experts in the Web3 industry every week, trying to learn something from their experiences and figure out how we can help this world by using cryptos. And today we are fortunate enough to have Ms. Kiran in the show, who is currently, doing her PhD and researching in the field of cryptocurrencies. So, thank you, Kiran, for coming to the show and willing to share your experiences with us. Why don't you tell a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself to our guests?
Yeah. Hi, Sankalp. Thank you for having me over. So I am Kiranmai Balijepali. I am currently pursuing my PhD in management at Symbiosis Center for Research and Innovation, which comes under Symbiosis International University. So my research focuses on cryptocurrency markets and detection of market manipulations. And I'm also working on price predictions using deep learning techniques. I Prior to this, I worked as a US tax consultant at Deloitte and associate in business strategy and operations at Ernst and Young. So my academic journey includes a master's in commerce and MBA from Usmania University in finance and management. So during my MBA, my lecturer actually introduced me to blockchain and cryptocurrency markets. He said, it's the right time for you to invest in one. So that is how I started learning about this field. I am very late to the market, but that is when it started. It was around 2016, something
Okay.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's it about myself.
You kind of led the traditional path that because most of the people watching this thing will be finance professionals. So we have and they are kind of where you were, when you were in your corporate journey. So you have been through that traditional path. And you were in an industry which is traditionally finance, and you were well placed. What led you to shift these gears and actually again going into an academic field, and what led you to truly get into Web3?
So my introduction to the world of blockchain and Web3 was gradual. It began during my postgraduate studies, like I said. As I was pursuing my MBA in finance and marketing, I was exposed to various innovative technologies and financial instruments. That was the period when this 500 and 1,000 rupees note got banned and we started using UPI payments.
Yes, yes.
So,
So this is
but it was
2016. So 16,
16,
7,
right?
16.
Yeah,
Mhm.
15 November they got banned, and from
Mhm.
16 onwards we started using it.
Yes, yes.
Um, but it was a concept of decentralized finance that truly captivated or captured my interest. The idea of financial system that operates without intermediaries, offering great transparency, security, efficiency uh, are both intriguing and revolutionary. So that curiosity led me to dive deeper into the subject, starting with understanding the basic principles of blockchain technology, where it actually started. So it was all very interesting. So I
Were,
began
were you
reading.
were you motivated by the high salary packages people were getting in the Web3 industry? That was it.
No, I was not actually because I didn't know what kind of work I can do in the industry itself. So uh, I know that I can be a investment uh, portfolio manager or investment consultant, but that was never my focus. It was
Mhm.
not the money at all.
Mhm.
Uh, a little bit about the money in terms of when I invested something, it got double, tripled. So it was
Yeah, that
fun,
gives a good feeling.
but it
And
was never about, sorry.
exactly. So and so it's probably basically the nature of the technology about and the future that it promises.
It has,
Eh,
yeah.
somehow
Uh,
it feels keep in future everything is going to be decentralized in some way, right? A
right,
trustless
correct,
system. So
right.
when we read when even I read about it, I felt like I need to know this, right? Because this is what future is
Right.
about, and I need to help it happen in some way. And that is the primary motivation which leads us in this way, right?
Yeah, yeah, true. So the more than the interest in creating awareness, so one thing that I was always fascinated by is how the market goes bust and they have booms, or the
Mm-hmm.
market falls. Um during the this 2008 financial crisis, uh, I was in like what, eighth standard or seventh standard. I don't even remember now.
Yeah.
So it was always so interesting to know that there is a whole market that uh, that there is a crisis in the market, and everybody there is a panic. And
There are a
then
lot of
when
factors at play. People are not able to figure
yeah,
out what's happening, what's
yeah,
future.
and my dad is a branch manager at SBI,
Okay.
so I know very well whenever there
Okay.
is some panic in the market, I can see it in my dad's face. And I always thought banks had a lot of control over our money. So I felt that we should have control over our own money because,
Because
while
when
growing up,
someone,
I
if
remember.
they mishandle and mismanage stuff, we, then
Right.
it goes. And
So
actually, it was 2008, that global financial crisis that
financial
led to
crisis, yeah.
Bitcoin white paper. So there was some person
Right.
at some place who also had the same thought.
Right. Yeah. So I didn't do anything about it, but he did because he's a
Yeah,
genius. So,
yeah.
uh, so when I got to know about the decentralized nature of all these markets, cryptocurrency markets, that is what intrigued me, or that is where I started learning more about the market. Yeah.
And like what were your sources? Because in 2016, 17, because today you at
Right.
least have YouTube channels and there are some education, yeah, even though that's very
Right.
scattered.
Yeah.
Learning and educating yourself and knowing about the technology was a hard task back then, right?
Right, right. So as I told you, I had a lecturer who actually helped.
Okay, so
Whenever he found an
mhm.
article, he used
Mhm.
to ask me
Yeah,
to read it, and
okay.
we thought we should write a paper together. But then my
Mm.
MBA got over, and I he left the university, so like we didn't
And
do
then you were
anything.
back into corporate world. So did you
Yeah.
So were you managing your work and still researching in the Web3 world, crypto world, or
Uh, so working as a US tax consultant, I had very little time for myself.
mm, mm,
So I was distant to, like, I couldn't find any time to read or watch movies, or I couldn't do anything. After a point, it felt very hectic for me. So I thought I'll take a break now. I don't want to run like this without any direction. So I felt that my career is not going anywhere. So then I thought, okay, I should get back to learning more about cryptocurrency
so,
markets. Yeah.
so what led you to take that step to, actually, leave your corporate job and, get into learning this thing very academically, go into a PhD stuff. That's a pretty big leap.
Yeah, so as I said, it was a hectic job, and I couldn't personally find any path for me. So it was all quite boring because and it was US taxation. It's not like I have an idea of what US taxation is. There was some point where it was very interesting to learn something new. But then after a point, I was like, no, I am not
Yeah,
learning anything new day after day. So my brain is already a mush by that time. So
yeah,
I
but
said no, I want to do something. Yeah.
it takes a lot of courage to actually act on your on your plans and to move ahead. So a lot of people watching this, they, we are in a job, we know what we want to do, what our future entails, but to actually take that bold step, towards the future. And sometimes it's just every day you have to take some courageous action to actually invest your time in education, studying, or knowing about getting yourself educated about technology, new things happening in life. That's what actually matters,
Yeah.
you usually see.
So my parents were very supportive. They said, if you don't want to work in a dead-end job, then don't do that. So do whatever you like. So it's their support. And then
And
yeah, I got into
how
a
did
nice
you,
university. So
how did you find courses? Because what I would say, a problem that I have faced is that there is so little education about the crypto world
right,
and Web3 world. Formalized education, actually, I haven't seen any course till now. I don't know if you can tell me. There is very fragmented learning, full of jargons that only engineers probably can understand. For finance
yeah.
people, it's impossible to read an article and to make any sense out of it. So
Right.
what would you say about it?
Blockchain is still a little difficult for me because I am not into technology. But before joining PhD, it was just articles I used to read, and then I thought I'll write a proposal and then show it to somebody who can guide me, who can tell me that if this proposal is good enough to do a PhD. That is when I found my supervisor. He was very helpful. But to have a formal education back then, I don't know if they had any, and I couldn't find, just like you said. But as of now, we do have like IIM Kolkata, Triple IT Bangalore, IIT Kharagpur, along with
Hmm.
IBM. They are offering 6 months courses, 1 year courses in blockchain technology. Also, there is this course called just a second. So there's this course called Blockchain Chartered Analyst by
Okay.
DEC Institute. So that has a extensive course. Like it has. I mean, you can audit the technology part of it, the economic part of it, and then the legal part of it.
Okay.
You know, that also helped me to understand a
Okay.
comprehensive. I mean, it actually gave me a structure to all this,
So,
information
so
that I.
all these courses that you just mentioned are mostly about around the theory of blockchain and understanding the terminology. Because
Right,
I have seen some of these courses, because the crypto world is such an early stage. Most
right.
of the real work, if you want to do, you need to have technical
Mhm.
knowledge, a lot of technical knowledge. But
Right.
from upskillment point of view, or if you are in an industry and you want to upskill yourself with crypto, probably these courses will do a lot of benefit, right? But how do you see for
Yeah.
someone who want to get into hardcore crypto industry? How can these courses help them to get around and do some meaningful work?
Right. So when you say technical aspects of it, I mean, if you know how to code, uh, all you have to do is take an additional course or maybe take a try and learn, because everything now is open source. So if you want to
Mm-hmm.
test your code, if you want to see if you can write a code similar to that, you can do that. You have tokenomics. Tokenomics, technical aspects of it is just you have to know if what business wants, and then you can write tokenomics around it. uh, I mean, there is nothing uh, out of the blue that is coming into the picture here. All you have to do is build on your um, current knowledge. If you are into coding, try how blockchain coding works, how Rust works. So maybe that can help. Like, you do have
Yes,
courses for that
so
if you.
most of the people, you know. don't have that much technical knowledge about coding or who want to get into
Right.
the field. So for them, it becomes a huge entry barrier. Because
Right.
yeah,
So even I don't know how to code. I learned after coming here. I mean, after coming
mm,
to after doing my for getting into
yes,
PhD.
exactly.
But then as a finance professional, I do have technical knowledge of how the markets work. So
Hmm.
yeah, the basic difference between your financial markets and crypto markets is volatility. So once you know those terminologies as to how to build your portfolio, how to read a
Manage
white
risks,
paper,
exactly. Hmm.
manage risk. So all this is not new for a finance person. So I mean, if you
If
want to
you,
get into this, you might have some kind of a basics, right? So if you're into accounting,
hmm,
for example, so you can get into crypto accounting as well.
crypto
It
accounting,
you just have to learn something new,
you
but that is the
build
case with
on top
every
of your
other.
skills.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I had this fascinating idea. Okay, most of the people in the crypto industry are either engineers or developers who do
right,
not have much idea about finance, and they're building a financial system out of it.
right,
Where people who are in finance, they don't know how to build products with it, who can help the industry. So when an engineer is able to learn about finance, why can't a finance person also learn about technology and coding and upskill themselves and contribute in a way? So do you see
right.
there will be demand for finance people with technology skills?
Yeah, to some part of it, yes. Because with AI coming in picture, uh, you can take help
Hmm.
of AI to generate your code,
Codes.
right? Um yeah, so ChatGPT can do that. Google Gemini can do that. So I use like there is GitHub's Copilot. So if you can
Everyone
explore
can do.
and
So if you kind of have a basic understanding of how code works and you have a finance
yeah,
understanding, so when you are
right,
auditing a code base or when you're auditing a project, you can make sense of the
right,
code and you know about the vulnerabilities, you know about risks, you know about audits, you know about how financial systems work. So just this
right,
new skill itself can, catapult your career or, make you
yeah,
ready for the future.
true,
So this is probably a revolution happening when we are in the
right,
cusp of it, and with all finance people and even people who are trying to figure out their careers, I always advise them to take a look at the emerging technologies which are going to change the world, and you need to be aware of it. And
right,
and
correct, correct,
people like you who have found a way to actually uh, uh, build a proper education around it, and how you can go about it. So very few people have done it, but I find it very fascinating. Okay, how you can do it, how to make a way out of it.
right. Uh, See, while starting my while giving my proposal, my first proposal was to build a uh, 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 trading model
Okay,
for cryptocurrency markets.
bot
That
or
is what,
model. Bot is a different
sorry,
thing.
model,
Model. So what's the model? What's the
model.
trading model?
It's a strategy, and then you write code for it, and then it becomes a model. Uh,
Okay.
so I wanted to do that, but then my supervisor said,
Mhm.
it's something that a lot of people are
Lot
doing.
of people
Even
are
in
there.
financial markets, there are a lot of strategies for, unless
Lot of
otherwise
algo.
you
They call it algo trading,
yeah,
and yes.
yeah. So unless otherwise you are doing something path breaking in algorithm, I mean in building an algorithm or building a strategy, then don't do it. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, to build a path breaking model, I should have some kind of an experience. I don't have that. And then I started looking at my other interests, like understanding how frauds happen, how manipulations happen.
Mhm.
So I felt, if I want to build a career out of this, one, the world should be ready for it. For anybody to build a career, so India doesn't have a proper set of regulations. They do have some kind of regulations, but we don't have a proper set of regulations. So I thought, how can we regulate this market? And
Hmm.
then I thought, to regulate this market, I have to understand what are the backdoors of
Problems.
this market,
Hmm.
problems of this market. So I thought, yeah, so let's start with how to understand, how to detect manipulations, and
Hmm.
then build an algorithm around it, which might help future, regulators to regulate the market. I'm not saying this will help them
Hmm.
do that, but it there is a, at least my contribution towards regulating the markets.
So looking from far, it feels like, how did you arrive at your, thesis, and you're working on such great things. But when you look at it, it's all about working every day, figuring out
Yeah,
what you want to do. You've probably thought about many topics, worked on a lot of things, and then arrived up at what you are working currently. Probably
yeah,
very exciting work you are doing. I was very fascinated by it. We'll probably do another podcast someday on the work that you are doing around crypto manipulations. I would love to hear your research and thoughts about it. That's
sure, sure.
that's
We should.
and how do you see this leads to a contribution into the crypto world? Like how can we uh, your work on crypto manipulations and everything? How can we probably make some usable product around it?
Um, so this is all. So I am halfway through my thesis. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is
Hmm.
all speculations. I don't know if that
Hmm.
is really helpful. I still have to do my market research.
Hmm.
That part of my thesis has not been done yet. But one is it helps understand the
The
flaws of the
world.
market.
Hmm.
Yeah. So financial markets, we still have market manipulators. So there is pump and dump going in penny stocks. There is front running. If the markets are vulnerable, people do this. But with cryptocurrency markets, they don't have any system around it. Even if you find somebody doing front running, you cannot do anything about it because there is no regulations around it. So, so understanding the vulnerabilities of the market, so that can be one contribution to the field.
And
And
uh, yeah, one thing, how you compared it with traditional markets. Traditional markets, even though the all these manipulations happen, one advantage
yeah,
probably in crypto markets is that you have so many data points which are on chain, and real time availability of these data points. This probably helps you understand this manipulation
uh,
better
in
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 crypto
crypto
markets.
markets, you say,
Yes.
right? But it also makes it difficult for somebody to prevent it. Like for example, if you have to do a front running in
Hmm.
standard financial markets or stock
What is
markets,
what is front
uh,
running?
front
People
running.
know.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes.
So, for example, you are investing a big chunk of amount. Okay,
Hmm.
and I am your advisor. Okay,
Exactly.
so I'll tell you ki, okay, you invest in this particular stock and
Hmm.
it might go up tomorrow.
Hmm.
And I know that you're investing substantial amount which will manipulate the price. Not manipulate,
But it
which will
will, yeah,
increase
it
the
will
price a
increase
little.
the price. Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So what I'll do is I will invest just before you.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Suppose the stock is at 19 rupees. Okay. When
Got it.
you invest, it might go up to 21 or 20. Okay. So what I'll do is invest before you and then get out of the market after you.
Uh,
So in that 1 2 rupees ka difference, I'll make profit.
And mostly
Okay.
this can be done by brokers or market makers who probably
Yes.
manage these huge funds. Hmm.
Right. So, but imagine with trading bots, with flash
Hmm.
bots,
Hmm.
and you have uh, uh, mempools in cryptocurrency markets, which means that even if I am not your advisor or consultant, I can still look at the mempool, which
Hmm.
memory
Hmm.
pool, and point out ki, this guy is investing so much. Let's
Hmm.
put more money or more gas, and then pump up, invest it before him, and then right after him, I'll get out of it. So with human competency, maybe it is not doable, but with flashbots, I mean, we can do that, right?
But
So
how will the bot know that that transaction is going to happen? It will only look at past transactions, right?
no, no. So you know the concept of memory pool. So what happens is, you have a lot of transactions, right?
Hmm.
So before the transactions is a transaction is put into a block,
Hmm.
they wait
Okay.
in memory pool
Okay. Okay. They wait in
for
memory
a
pools. Okay.
minor,
Uh-huh.
yeah, for a
And
minor
how
or
can
a,
someone access these memory pools? The bots can
it's
access
all
this memory.
online.
Hmm.
It's all, even you can access, I can access memory pool. Everybody can
Okay.
see what's there in the memory pool. It's all online.
Uh,
So
okay.
it's
That's a
all
very
on the chain.
fascinating thing. I didn't know about it, but it's a very fascinating thing to know because I've heard about I could relate it to layer twos and principal layers because how layer twos first manage a transaction and then post it into the principal layers.
Yeah,
So this in this
right.
case in memory pools they kind of post the entire transactions onto the
Yeah,
principal layer, and you can
right.
if you figure out the memory pools, yeah, just as you said, these flash bots before the
Yeah,
transaction gets posted into the main channel, main
yeah. I'll
chain,
just put
then
more gas
and
price. I mean, I'll just put more gas and
yes,
then,
oh, and your
it's called
transaction will
sandwich
get
attack. Yeah. So you
so
make more
so
money.
so this is something. So this is what you call a front running. Cool to know.
Yes.
And
So like that,
these
we've
new and new
identified a
types
lot of,
of manipulations are kind of happening due to the huge availability of data and also due to these architectures that are being built around blockchains, right?
right,
Say
right.
similar, you don't have that much complexity in a traditional market because everything is happening in the
Correct.
background and fully
Right.
taken care of. But this was very fascinating to know. Thank you for telling.
So, so we are building, I
Hmm,
am building a model to
hmm,
detect friend running. I
hmm,
will not be able to predict it, but
hmm.
exchange might be able to stop it. So that is where my
That's
thesis
very
can become a
fascinating.
product.
That is very fascinating to
So
know. Yeah. So we were talking about front running and market manipulations, and
right,
with your work on this area in particular, uh,
right.
all these manipulations kind of lead to audit,
Mhm.
and probably most of these audits will be autonomous in some way. There will be tools which will be able to detect these things, considering the chains are the data is probably on chain and real time. So
Right.
where do you see the role of audits in the world of cryptos and Web3?
Um, to be honest, I am not very sure on audits. So do you mean exchange audits
Yeah,
or
even that comes in the
right? Okay,
purview.
I
So
right.
probably,
Um,
an important distinction to be made. There will be two types of audits. Probably code audits will be, you need a different skill sets and
right.
regulations, laws, compliance audits, and even
Got it.
tokenomics
Oh,
audits, and then
right,
probably
right,
those stuff as well, which will need different skill sets.
right. Uh, so based on what you told me, this is what I
Hmm.
think. Okay.
Hmm.
I I don't know specifically what there are so many kinds of audit.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, we do need audit. Like for example, when you say code audit,
Hmm.
you want to make sure that your platform is stable,
Hmm.
and your chain is stable, or your exchange is stable, or your product is stable. When you say tokenomics audit, so what happens with a lot of businesses is
What are some other types of common, crypto manipulations that are happening that if someone is, if someone should know about?
uh, so one thing I Okay, so there is this thing called pump and dump.
Hmm.
So if you have a Telegram channel, you can
Hmm.
subscribe to this pump and dump channels.
Hmm.
I mean, if you have Telegram account, you can subscribe to pump and dump channels, and then they'll keep posting ki when will the pump happen,
Hmm.
and then they'll tell you which exchange, how much money. I
Hmm.
mean, not how much money.
Hmm.
They'll tell you
Hmm.
which exchange and when will the pump be happening, and you will get every update every 1 minute.
Hmm.
Saying ki, after 10 days, this is the exchange, and we'll let you know the coin. And then they'll tell you 15 minutes may there is pump, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and
Hmm.
then 1 minute may they'll tell you ki, okay, this is the coin that we are trying to pump. And everybody will start buying and the price goes up. When the price goes up, people will start, selling it. So
Hmm.
a person who enters the market at the wrong time, and most of them do. So we all thinking, what is there? Once they tell you which coin to buy, I'll start buying.
Hmm.
If you are a human being, you cannot be that quick.
You will not be
There
that
are
quick.
people with bots,
Hmm.
and these channels, what they do is they will invest it prior
And
to
then
the
they
pump.
will give you the tip.
Yeah. So and then they'll sell it. So most of the time people end up
Losing a
losing
lot of
more
money.
money. Yeah. So that is
So, but
something that I
it will
thought
be,
people.
but when you go to their channel, they'll have these long screenshots. Okay, this pump happened, everything.
Yeah.
And I have seen even people who defraud people in these pump and dump schemes by taking their money into some exchange. They build some fraudulent exchange pages in
Oh yeah.
websites, yeah, and they will tell you, okay, you invest this much, and you will be able to withdraw after you reach this fund amount. If you reach
Right.
$1,000 or $1,000, then only you will be able to withdraw. And they will ask
Yeah.
you to deposit after third pump or fourth pump. All those.
Right.
There are many Discord groups and Telegram groups where these pump and dump channels. There are
Yeah.
some which and others which have some credible exchanges. Even there
Right.
they do this type of
Yeah.
other phishing
Manipulation or fraud.
manipulations.
Yeah.
So it's very important to at least invest in credible exchanges which have at least minimum
Right.
liquidity. Because if you have the 10% gains, if you are looking for running after 10% gains and you are going to lose 100% of your
You'll end up
funds.
losing more than that. Right. So, when you run behind quick money, right? That is
Hmm.
when you see ki all this as an opportunity. So it's not an opportunity. You can be losing a lot of money.
Hmm.
So there is a difference between manipulation and fraud.
So we talked about really, diverse field of topics, right from, audits to crypto manipulations, various, things that people may not know about. It was, very fascinating to know, this various stuff and
Yeah.
listen from real experiences.
So while talking about pump and dump, you said that there are people who develop a fake exchange or fake app
Hmm. Hmm.
and ask people to invest in it, right?
Hmm.
So there is this very interesting fraud that is happening
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
scam that is happening.
Hmm.
It's called pig butchering.
Hmm.
Okay. So what they do is they get in contact with you via these dating apps or
Okay.
matrimonial apps.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then they spend a good amount of time,
Hmm.
maybe a year or something, and then they'll ask you ki, acha, anyways, you're getting married, right?
Hmm.
So let's plan our finances together.
Oh,
I came across this, and then please invest. So
Arey,
the kind of time that they put into all this, right? So
and and you are kind of saving your life savings into like your
yeah. So you
so
just invest in that link or you just send money to that particular address and then all your money is gone.
you
It's called
can't
pig butchering.
you can't even trust, It's if someone with whom you have invested so much emotional energy,
Yeah, it's
this
horrifying, man.
how and all people are there. There are many scams that are happening. There's a Google Maps review scam I was recently
Correct.
reading. Yeah, they asked you, they tell you to, okay, you have to do assignments for us and we'll pay you. So they are offering you jobs.
Right.
Uh, and
Right.
they'll say ki in order like you have to do this much work. So it originally standard is okay, you have to do this much reviews. Yeah, and some pages they ask
Right.
you to
Right.
go to
Right.
websites and increase the traffic of those websites. Different types
Right.
of tasks they tell, and they tell कि ये एक task on each task they will give you some 100 bucks, 200 bucks, 300 bucks, and it
Yeah. Yeah.
increases with number of tasks, and they even pay
Yeah.
you. They even after you do three tasks, they will pay you. After six tasks, they
Yeah.
will pay you. After ninth task, they will ask you, you have to invest 1,000 rupees.
Invest. Huh?
So they win your trust with these initial payments, and after that, they are so the amount of innovations these people are doing is more than the real innovation happening in the
All
world.
right. Correct, correct. So there are people who are, developing new models. They're
Mm,
developing new technologies. Like for
mm,
example, blockchain was supposed to help people, stop all these manipulations and
mm.
to build transparency. And look what we are doing. We are trying to again again run behind all this new innovative ideas that people get to manipulate.
Yeah, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for people to, distinguish between what is genuine and what is,
Yeah,
yeah. So education is probably the only solution to this. You need to be aware,
correct, correct.
you need to know,
Yeah,
and and you should not trust anything unless you know
yeah,
about it, exactly what it does and how it works.
yeah. So
And
it's
that's
always do your own research.
exactly, and learn and research properly before investing and putting money into proper stuff. Then that's where people
Correct,
like us come, where who actually have these informations, who actually know about stuff, to actually share it with
right,
people, and people who are getting defrauded, they should come out and share about how this things are happening.
correct, correct. True.
This is if you have the technology, you should use it. No, sharing
Mm,
education, sharing knowledge is probably the only solution.
right. Yeah,
Exactly.
creating awareness about crypto, for that matter, anything. Creating
Anything.
awareness about
Exactly.
scams or you know manipulations or how to invest is also no for you to know,
Mm.
okay, okay,
Mm.
how to navigate through a
Mm.
website, how to invest,
Mm.
how to you know uh, put your money on some kind of a blockchain, how to use it for how to use blockchain for various other purposes. People should know, so that we should have a lot of awareness. Yeah,
And there are a lot of manipulations or even frauds that are happening even in crypto projects, even at the
right.
tokenomics level. There are many people who are creating crypto projects only to defraud people. Since you are working
Yes,
in
yeah.
tokenomics, you have idea about tokenomics. There, do you have you faced or anything you would like to share?
Uh, so I can do this. So there is
Hmm.
this company. I don't want
Hmm.
to take names.
Oh, cool.
So they called me for an interview.
Hmm.
I said okay, and then he, the CEO of the company, spoke with me.
Hmm.
He said you will be part of the C-suite, not C-suite.
Hmm.
You will be part of the CEO's office, and
Hmm.
you will have to help me build the tokenomics. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. We usually do it on freelance basis, but
Hmm.
now I'm like, okay, we can do that. If I get a
Hmm.
full-time job, I'll get to interact with more people,
Hmm.
and that is something that I always wanted. Getting to interact with more people so that you will understand, you can expand your
Exactly. Yeah,
understanding
yeah.
on so he said, meet our blockchain team, developer team, and then meet our other tokenomics expert. and all that.
Mm,
I'm like, okay, cool, awesome. And then I thought it's a genuine company. And then uh, when I actually went in, then I understood that this company is not going anywhere. They'll
uh-huh,
ask you to build a tokenomics, and then
mm.
they'll defraud. They will not, they're not gonna run the company for long. So I said, I don't want to be a part of fraud. That is exactly what I want to, you know,
What did you see that
lo-
led you to believe the tokenomics
uh,
wasn't right?
yeah. So I asked him a few questions to build tokenomics.
Mm,
How do you want to do it? What is your, uh, I mean, why do you want to build tokenomics? Why do you want to
mm,
bring all this business in onto blockchain? What is
mm,
your purpose? He
mm,
said, I don't want to reveal anything. You just give me
mm,
tokenomics. I'm like,
mm,
without you telling me what you
mm,
want or
mm,
what is the purpose of you getting onto Web3 or blockchain? Without you telling me that, how can I build? He's like, you just give me a dummy,
mm,
this thing. I'll work on it. So I'll go pitch to the investors, and once they
mm.
release money, then we can think about it.
So they just
I'm like,
wanted
oh,
to
dude,
capitalize on the buzzwords, Web3,
yeah,
crypto. They didn't have any real use case
yeah,
out of it. That's
yeah.
how
So,
a lot of startups, tried to ride on these
yeah,
crypto and AI stuff and get investor money, but they didn't know what to do with it. They just wanted it
yeah,
to be part of their organization
part of,
somehow.
yeah.
When that
So, but
happens, there
this,
is no utility out of it. Then you are just
right.
spending the money, but it will go nowhere.
But imagine if there is a community around this. Right.
Hmm.
Once the coin is out and then
Hmm.
people start buying because
Hmm.
of what you said, they're
Hmm.
interested in buying.
Hmm.
And then you build a whole system, whole community out of it, and then you you don't actually put anything on
Put
blockchain.
in.
Then what? Yeah.
There are a lot of
So
incidents like this that have happened. There
yeah,
are many
it's called rug
influencers.
pulling.
Yeah, it's called exactly.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I said I don't want to be part of it. So.
So I saw a very interesting video where he said that if uh, the in their tokenomics, uh,
Mhm.
if the founders and promoters, people who have actually started the project, if they have more than 30% of the tokens for themselves, then
Mm,
it's part of it's a sign of a Rakut.
yeah.
They should have at least 50 to 60% available for public and community.
Right.
For
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
should have at least 60% of their own coins available for the general public to buy.
Community.
And but
Yeah.
all these rug pulls projects that happen. I have seen the Logan Paul one, and there
Right.
are many influencers who started many much hyped crypto projects, and they
Right.
they left all the investors with no money. So all these people
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
70
Yeah.
80% of coins reserved for themselves, and the 20% they look, much hyped coins, taking shell prices way up and up and up, and then they sold all these.
Pull the rug, or
Yeah,
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 they just come out of
yeah.
the project.
So there's something
So
that's happening then.
yeah, so it's very important for people to understand. See, even with
Mm,
financial markets, not a lot of
mm,
people has an understanding of what is stocks or stock
mm,
markets.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
Now that we are in this field, we know a lot about what is
mm.
stock market. But imagine a person who is not from finance background.
It's very difficult
You
for
will have
them
to go
then.
out of your way to understand what is stock market. How many of us are doing that? Going out of our
Mm,
way to learn something new. Like you can have a lot
mm,
of reasons that you don't have
mm.
enough time, you don't have enough resources to do that. But talking about this
But
more,
in today's
uh,
world, you have to. In today's world, you have to.
yeah,
Otherwise, your skills will be of no use.
yeah,
You will either get defrauded or you'll lose your money.
correct, right. So people who are into this should actually come out, talk more, and
Mm,
if there is a chance, put it on open source platforms like YouTube, so that everybody can have access to this and they can learn
mm,
about uh, how to save your money, how to invest it properly. Even if you want to trade, how can you trade it? How to make
Creating.
safe or low risk strategies,
Mhm.
or even if you're having risk, you should be able to manage your risk properly. Yeah. So
Yes,
creating awareness is very
creating a
important.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Creating and reaching out to people also is very important.
Very
And
important. Correct.
but that's very early stage in India. Probably there are not good communities for general people.
Right.
So that will happen probably. More and more people like us coming forward. Uh,
Yeah.
this will happen, and the use case of crypto is getting stronger. So more and more, adoption is going to happen, and then all these things also going to happen. So
Yeah.
the hoping for a good future. Right. Uh, that was wonderful talking to you, Kiran. This got to know about many stuff that I wasn't personally aware of, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this would have got a lot of things to learn and motivations to direct their efforts towards. So thank you for coming to our podcast. Thank you for sharing your experience and so much. Hoping that you will come again, and we'll probably plan uh, another call sometime and talk about something interesting. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. And thank you for having me. Looking forward to more of your podcast to
Thank
understand
you.
how, like, where are other people who are doing some impressive
Good
stuff
work.
in
Yes, exactly.
this.
That's what
Yeah.
the aim of this thing is about to know what is the real work that is happening in the
Yeah.
industry. So the
Looking forward to it.
I hope everyone who's watching this, would have got a very, inspiring 30, 40 minutes out of it. Uh,
Uh,
Thank you, Kiran, for being with us. With this, we'll end this podcast. Do watch this thing. Do follow this channel. We'll be meeting with more and more people like this, and educating ourselves. Thank you.